Mourn the loss of Rob Reiner. Investigators are hard at work getting to the bottom of the crime as the director's son is taken into custody. The latest when we return.
Avenue.
All right, turning back to our top story this hour, crews on the scene of a fire in Luzerne County where that smoke pouring out of the windows of a building. Let's turn to 2822's Joe Mason, who is live for us on scene this afternoon. Joe, what do we know so far?
Good afternoon. I just got here a few moments ago. We have an active structure fire happening right now at 403 McLean Street in DuPont. I'm going to take a step out of the shot. Photographer Zach Paraway is going to show you what's going on here. Crews are still actively fighting this. As you see, they're putting fire on some of those hot spots right now. We believe that this is a home. It's in a residential neighborhood here. DuPont, Laughlin, Fire and EMS all here. We do know that people were rescued from this building. We don't know exactly how many just yet, but we do know that some people had to be rescued from the building. Currently right now, McLean, Stanton, and Curtin Street all partially closed as of right now. Now, we'll keep you posted on air and online when more information becomes available to us on this fire. But for now, reporting in DuPont, Joe Mason, 2822 News.
Joe, okay. We'll hear back from Joe in a little bit. In Hollywood, people are mourning Rob Reiner as authorities continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the murder of the longtime director and his wife. Their son arrested for allegedly stabbing his parents at their LA home. Bradley Blackburn has the latest, including the backlash President Trump is receiving after his response to the crime.
At Rob Reiner's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, fans left flowers Monday to honor a man at the center of American entertainment for decades.
I think Rob Reiner was a fantastic, talented storyteller and actor, and moreover, he was just a really, really kind, decent human being.
Reiner and his wife Michelle were found dead Sunday, stabbed multiple times in their home in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. Their bodies were discovered by their daughter, who called 911. LAPD arrested Reiner's 32-year-old son, Nick.
Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder and is being held on $4 million bail.
Bail has since been revoked, and Nick Reiner is being held at this correctional facility. He has a history of substance abuse problems and stints in rehab, but appeared often with his dad, including recently at the September premiere of Spinal Tap 2. Reiner, who was known for his political activism, was also remembered in Washington.
Our prayers go out to the Reiner family, the survivors, and everybody who's affected by this.
But President Trump has drawn criticism for what he said after the news.
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned.
I think President Trump should have said nothing.
Former Presidents Obama and Clinton were among those who paid tribute to Reiner, with Clinton writing Reiner inspired and uplifted millions.
And that takes us to our Instapoll question of the day. We are asking, are you bothered by the remarks President Trump made regarding Rob Reiner's death? You can vote on our Instapoll by scanning the QR code on your screen, heading to 2822news.com, or at the drop-down menu on our app. And after you do that, head to our Facebook page, leave a comment there about why you chose the option you chose. It might be featured in one of our newscasts throughout the day. Well, authorities have released video of a person of interest in the deadly shooting at Brown University. The images are believed to show the same person that was seen calmly walking away from the scene of the shooting that killed 2 students and hurt 9 others on Saturday. Meanwhile, there is a growing memorial for the victims, including a sophomore who was vice president of Brown's College Republicans and a freshman who had dreams of becoming a neurosurgeon. FBI officials remained on scene of the engineering building where the shooting took place, looking for clues. University officials have canceled all remaining classes and exams for the semester. Hundreds gathered at Sydney's Bondi Beach to honor the victims of a terror attack that targeted a Hanukkah celebration. Israel's ambassador to Australia was among those who came to lay flowers and to pray. 15 people were killed, dozens of others injured in that attack. Authorities say the suspected gunmen are a father and son who were driven by Islamic State ideology. The older gunman, as in the father, had died, but the 24-year-old son in a coma in the hospital. Yesterday, Australian leaders agreed to overhaul the country's already tough gun control laws. Logan will have your future weather alert forecast when we come back.
Welcome back, everyone, on this Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully you're enjoying the start of the week so far. Has been a cold start, and once again, not necessarily the warmest day here for the rest of the afternoon. As we take a live look right now from our Montage camera right into the valley here, you can certainly see great day ahead. This is the slopes. There's a lot of people there on Montage Mountain, and nice, beautiful day, especially with all the sunshine. Live look here also in Wilkes-Barre. You can see plenty of sunshine, just a few thin cirrus clouds, but otherwise not expecting too much for the rest of the day. Maybe a few more out of clouds into the mix, otherwise mostly to partly sunny. What's not moving on visible satellite is still the snowpack on the ground, especially in those higher elevations and especially farther south and east. But otherwise, you can see a little bit more clouds off toward north and west. Those will kind of mix in here as we go into the afternoon. Also, here is another view of that. And we'll expect things to remain quiet and dry here for the rest of the day. Temperatures right now currently at 22 for Montrose, 23 Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, 22 for Mount Pocono, 25 in Selinsgrove and Lock Haven right now at 23. Those winds are going to be also pretty light here for the rest of the afternoon, anywhere around 5 miles per hour. Not expecting those to pick up anymore really as we go into the rest of the day. Temperatures reaching back up today into the upper 20s and still maybe a few spots into central Pennsylvania and the valleys. Try to get to the lower 30s, but we'll fall back here this evening into the lower 20s and even a few upper teens, but at least it won't be quite as cold. As we're looking at futurecast, so for the rest of the day, expecting a mostly to partly sunny sky and pretty quiet conditions even for tomorrow. We'll look for more clouds and sunshine, and there will be the chance for maybe a passing flurry, brief snow shower, but I think you'll have a better chance for that staying into New York State. Then as we head into Thursday, out ahead of the strong cold front we'll be watching. Looks like it's pretty quiet for the day. We'll have more clouds and sunshine, but we will have temperatures starting to warm back up into the mid to upper 40s, so we'll feel a little bit better for Thursday. But then here comes the front as we get into Thursday night. This will bring us around from some steady, perhaps maybe a brief period for heavier rain too. But then on the backside, it will be cold enough that we could see some snow showers try to mix in. But that cold air really sinks in here as we get into Friday. We'll have temperatures falling throughout the day, so technically our high temperature of 50 is going to happen overnight. And then the rest of the day on Friday, we're back to the 30s, and it will be windy, so wind chills will be into the 20s and teens. Looking at December temperatures so far for the beginning part of the month, we've had every single day where we've been below average, and I think we'll at least see a little bit of a change this week as those temperatures get a bit above average. So you can see today we're still pretty much stuck in the freezer into the 20s. Tomorrow a little bit better, and then we'll be slightly above average here by Thursday and also at least Friday early morning. Looking at your forecast for today, we'll have a mostly to partly sunny sky, temperatures in the upper 20s, and then for tonight, partly cloudy, seasonably cold with lows falling to near 20. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. So for Wednesday, more clouds and sun with highs near 40. Heading into Thursday, we're expecting still the clouds to win out, but there will be rain developing overnight. And then for Friday itself, there will be some snow showers trying to mix in briefly on the backside, but that high of 50 really only happening in the early morning. And then Gianna, the rest of the day looks like it's going to be windy and cold. We're into the 30s to near 40 heading into this weekend. So it has certainly been an active weather pattern. We've had lots of rounds of snow events here the past few weeks and the Arctic air, but at least we'll see temperatures moderating a little bit here over the next few days, which will be good.
Piled up our snow so far this season,
and it has
Logan.
not melted at all. So
I know,
yes.
right?
Yep.
All right, we're looking forward to that warm change. Now is the time to show that special woman in your life some extra love. Until Friday, you can nominate her for our Remarkable Women 2026 contest at 2822news.com/contest. She can be anyone from a frontline worker to a bedside worker, or however you feel she is amazing and inspiring. One extraordinary woman will be selected as our grand prize winner. She will travel to Nashville and participate in the National Remarkable Women celebration early next year. She will also receive a donation to her favorite charity. So you still have time. Nominate by Friday. Decreasing the risk faced by women during pregnancy. What new studies say about how vaccinations could safeguard pregnant mothers and their babies. Coming up.
2022.
In today's Health Beat, pregnant women who got vaccinated for COVID-19 were far less likely to have severe illness or premature babies. A University of British Columbia study looking at more than 20,000 pregnancies found that pregnant women who got the COVID shot were 60% less likely to be hospitalized and 90% less likely to need intensive care than unvaccinated women. COVID vaccination also led to 20 to 36% fewer premature births, adding to the clear evidence vaccination protects pregnant women and their babies. And in our consumer report, iRobot, the maker of robot vacuum Roomba, has filed for bankruptcy. Vacuum was introduced in 2002 and quickly became a household name. Attempts by Amazon to buy the company fell apart. iRobot says it is expecting to continue operating, meet its commitments to its employees, and make payments to vendors and other creditors during the bankruptcy process. The Postal Service is reminding Americans to get their holiday cards and gifts in the mail this week to ensure delivery by Christmas. For the lower 48 states, Ground Advantage mail should go out no later than tomorrow, while Priority and Express shipping can be pushed, and Saturday. Those dates move back a day for mail going to Alaska, Hawaii, or the U.S. territories, which means Ground Advantage mail should go out by today for those places. We are coming right back. One final look at your forecast with Logan today.
On the app.
All right, so final check of the forecast. Still cold today, a little bit better tomorrow. We'll have more clouds and sun, and a little bit warmer Thursday. Dry throughout the day, rain overnight. That high of 50 happens early Friday morning. Will fall throughout the rest of the day, and Gianna back to the 30s to near 40 for the weekend.
A very warm welcoming here.
Yes.
Bring it on. Thanks, Logan. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you back here for First Step 4. Take care.
Very hard to correct those problems.
And polls show that the majority of Americans do not approve of the way the administration economy. Healthcare costs are one affordability issue that's top of mind as lawmakers near the deadline to address rising costs. Millions of Americans will see their health insurance premiums skyrocket if lawmakers do not vote to extend COVID-era tax credits. Democrats want to extend those credits for 1 to 3 years, while Republicans oppose the extension or ask for spending cuts in return. So far, lawmakers don't seem close to a compromise.
I want all money going to the people and let the people buy their own health care. It'll be unbelievable. They'll do a great job. They'll get much better health care at a much lower cost.
The Republican legislation that will be on the floor this week does nothing to keep health care affordable for everyday Americans, and they know it.
A House vote is expected this week. We'll expect those thermometers to begin slightly rising. Am I right, Logan?
Yeah, a little bit of a warming trend here this week, Gianna, but yeah, not the case at least for today. We're still talking temperatures right now. Even if you're stepping out, maybe go grab some lunch. Currently 26 for Tunkhannock, 23 Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, 22 in Mount Pocono, and right now 22 as well for Lock Haven. At least those winds not overly strong. They're around maybe 5 miles per hour from many spots, so at least it's not adding too much of a wind chill factor for today. So we'll expect those winds to remain pretty light going into the rest of the afternoon. Satellite radar showing still some flurries, some snow showers to the north of us, but we've had a decent amount of sun here over Pennsylvania. We'll start to see some mid to high level clouds streaming in a little bit more heading into the afternoon, otherwise mostly to partly sunny. Gianna, we're going to talk about that warming trend, how warm it's going to get, and also we do have some rain, some snow to talk about. Details in just a few minutes.
All right, Logan, we'll see you in just a little bit. Thank you. This just in this afternoon, crews are on the scene of a fire in Luzerne County where smoke is said to be pouring out of the windows. We do not know much about yet what that fire on McLean Street in DuPont has been caused from, but those crews are there, as you can see, in heavy active response to that scene. So we will bring you the latest as that information comes available on 2822news.com and here on air. Well, with PPL's recent rate hike request, many customers are wondering if it's connected to the rise in data centers here in the region. PPL has pledged 20.5 gigawatts of power to data centers across Pennsylvania and say that the agreements come with energy and financial terms that would protect residential users from paying more. They say data center customers would be financially responsible for any grid upgrades that benefit them, would share the cost of all other grid upgrades, and may actually lower transmission cost for other customers.
We expect that with the first gigawatt of data centers that come online, customers will see about a 10% decrease in their transmission system costs.
And while the impacts of data center development has yet to be seen here in NEPA, it seems there is some hope for customers' wallets. Mixed reactions over former President Joe Biden on a Hometown Hero banner hung in Scranton. The banner was put up by the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association at the beginning of December. The 46th president lived on North Washington Avenue for the first 10 years of his life before moving to Delaware. The president of the association recognizes that Joe Biden never served in the military, and the group did expect some political backlash for a variety of reasons, but not to the level they have seen on social media.
Some veterans became aware of it, and they were upset at the fact that we appeared to be honoring President Biden as a veteran when he was not a veteran. We're well aware of that he was not a veteran.
Veterans at a local VFW tell 2822 News they firmly feel the Hometown Hero banner should only be used for people who served in the military. It's not clear what charges this man taken into custody faces for stabbing a constable. Police say a tenant of Adams High Rise who was being evicted jabbed the constable at this location yesterday. We'll let you know when we learn more. And police are trying to track down the man wanted for an attempted homicide in Carbon County. Troopers say 32-year-old Edwin Vasquez took off after he shot and assaulted a woman near Weatherly over the weekend. The 29-year-old female has been released from the hospital. They have now issued an arrest warrant for Vasquez. And still no cause of that devastating fire over the weekend in Northumberland County. The fast-moving fire on Scott Street in Coltmont damaged 5 homes. 12 people are now without a place to stay. 2 of the homes have been torn down. The Red Cross is helping several of those victims. And fire experts are reminding everyone that this time of the year also comes with an increased risk of house fires. From decorations and lights to cooking that large holiday meal at home, many common traditions can quickly turn dangerous. The Hanover Township Fire Department sees a spike in fire calls this time of year.
Increasing fire problems for us would be the way people take care of their trees, not watering them, not electrically being proper with them, extension cords, those type of things are very dangerous this time of year.
Officials also say to make sure that your smoke alarm batteries are changed every 6 months and replaced every 10 years. They also remind everyone that carbon monoxide alarms need to be replaced every 7 years. Well, the Jewish community celebrated the second night of Hanukkah around the world, and the holiday was marked with a historic first in Luzerne County. A large group gathered at Wyoming Seminary Upper School in Kingston last night to light a 9-foot outdoor menorah. It was donated by several area families. Rabbi Larry Kaplan from Temple Israel in Wilkes-Barre led the ceremony with traditional Hebrew prayers and songs. Jewish students on campus say they appreciate seeing their faith publicly recognized.
I just think it's really great bringing the Jewish community together. I mean, at SEM, there's a small Jewish community, so I think just supporting one another and coming together is really important.
Even a little bit of light can fill a whole lot of darkness. So we're hoping that every night that we add a light to the Hanukkah menorah, it's going to be adding a lot more light to that darkness.
After the lighting, the celebration moved indoors where families and students sang songs, lit smaller menorahs, and enjoyed some festive foods. Well, the Powerball jackpot continues to surge after no big winner once again in last night's drawing. Those numbers were 23, 35, 59, 63, 68 with a Powerball of 2. Tomorrow night's jackpot now sits at an estimated $1.25 billion with a cash value of more than $570 million, giving players another chance to dream big this holiday season. It's the second largest Powerball prize this year, behind that $1.7 billion, which you remember was won on September 6th. As fans around the world mourn the loss of Rob Reiner, investigators are hard at work getting to the bottom of the crime as the director's son is taken into custody. The latest when we return.
Avenue.
All right, turning back to our top story this hour, crews on the scene of a fire in Luzerne County where that smoke pouring out of the windows of a building. Let's turn to 2822's Joe Mason, who is live for us on scene this afternoon. Joe, what do we know so far?
Good afternoon. I just got here a few moments ago. We have an active structure fire happening right now at 403 McLean Street in DuPont. I'm going to take a step out of the shot. Photographer Zach Paraway is going to show you what's going on here. Crews are still actively fighting this. As you see, they're putting fire on some of those hot spots right now. We believe that this is a home. It's in a residential neighborhood here. DuPont, Laughlin, Fire and EMS all here. We do know that people were rescued from this building. We don't know exactly how many just yet, but we do know that some people had to be rescued from the building. Currently right now, McLean, Stanton, and Curtin Street all partially closed as of right now. Now, we'll keep you posted on air and online when more information becomes available to us on this fire. But for now, reporting in DuPont, Joe Mason, 2822 News.
Joe, okay. We'll hear back from Joe in a little bit. In Hollywood, people are mourning Rob Reiner as authorities continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the murder of the longtime director and his wife. Their son arrested for allegedly stabbing his parents at their LA home. Bradley Blackburn has the latest, including the backlash President Trump is receiving after his response to the crime.
At Rob Reiner's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, fans left flowers Monday to honor a man at the center of American entertainment for decades.
I think Rob Reiner was a fantastic, talented storyteller and actor, and moreover, he was just a really, really kind, decent human being.
Reiner and his wife Michelle were found dead Sunday, stabbed multiple times in their home in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. Their bodies were discovered by their daughter, who called 911. LAPD arrested Reiner's 32-year-old son, Nick.
Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder and is being held on $4 million bail.
Bail has since been revoked, and Nick Reiner is being held at this correctional facility. He has a history of substance abuse problems and stints in rehab, but appeared often with his dad, including recently at the September premiere of Spinal Tap 2. Reiner, who was known for his political activism, was also remembered in Washington.
Our prayers go out to the Reiner family, the survivors, and everybody who's affected by this.
But President Trump has drawn criticism for what he said after the news.
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned.
I think President Trump should have said nothing.
Former Presidents Obama and Clinton were among those who paid tribute to Reiner, with Clinton writing Reiner inspired and uplifted millions.
And that takes us to our Instapoll question of the day. We are asking, are you bothered by the remarks President Trump made regarding Rob Reiner's death? You can vote on our Instapoll by scanning the QR code on your screen, heading to 2822news.com, or at the drop-down menu on our app. And after you do that, head to our Facebook page, leave a comment there about why you chose the option you chose. It might be featured in one of our newscasts throughout the day. Well, authorities have released video of a person of interest in the deadly shooting at Brown University. The images are believed to show the same person that was seen calmly walking away from the scene of the shooting that killed 2 students and hurt 9 others on Saturday. Meanwhile, there is a growing memorial for the victims, including a sophomore who was vice president of Brown's College Republicans and a freshman who had dreams of becoming a neurosurgeon. FBI officials remained on scene of the engineering building where the shooting took place, looking for clues. University officials have canceled all remaining classes and exams for the semester. Hundreds gathered at Sydney's Bondi Beach to honor the victims of a terror attack that targeted a Hanukkah celebration. Israel's ambassador to Australia was among those who came to lay flowers and to pray. 15 people were killed, dozens of others injured in that attack. Authorities say the suspected gunmen are a father and son who were driven by Islamic State ideology. The older gunman, as in the father, had died, but the 24-year-old son in a coma. Yesterday, Australian leaders agreed to overhaul the country's already tough gun control laws. Logan will have your future weather alert forecast when we come back.
Welcome back, everyone, on this Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully you're enjoying the start of the week so far. Has been a cold start, and once again, not necessarily the warmest day here for the rest of the afternoon. As we take a live look right now from our Montage camera right into the valley here, you can certainly see great day ahead to the slopes. There's a lot of people there on Montage Mountain, and nice, beautiful day, especially with all the sunshine. Live look here also in Wilkes-Barre. You can see plenty of sunshine, just a few thin cirrus clouds, but otherwise not expecting too much for the rest of the day. Maybe a few more out of clouds into the mix, otherwise mostly to partly sunny. What's not moving on visible satellite is still the snowpack on the ground, especially in those higher elevations and especially farther south and east. But otherwise, you can see a little bit more clouds off toward north and west. Those will kind of mix in here as we go into the afternoon. Also, here is another view of that. And we'll expect things to remain quiet and dry here for the rest of the day. Temperatures right now currently at 22 for Montrose, 23 Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, 22 for Mount Pocono, 25 in Selinsgrove and Lock Haven right now at 23. Those winds are going to be also pretty light here for the rest of the afternoon, anywhere around 5 miles per hour. Not expecting those to pick up anymore really as we go into the rest of the day. Temperatures reaching back up today into the upper 20s, and still maybe a few spots into central Pennsylvania and the valleys try to get to the lower 30s, but we'll fall back here this evening into the lower 20s and even a few upper teens, but at least it won't be quite as cold as we're looking at futurecast. So for the rest of the day, expecting a mostly to partly sunny sky and pretty quiet conditions even for tomorrow. We'll look for more clouds and sunshine, and there will be the chance for maybe a passing flurry, brief snow shower, but I think you'll have a better chance for that staying into New York State. That is, we head into Thursday. Out ahead of the strong cold front we'll be watching. Looks like it's pretty quiet for the day. We'll have more clouds and sunshine, but we will have temperatures starting to warm back up into the mid to upper 40s, so we'll feel a little bit better for Thursday. But then here comes the front as we get into Thursday night. This will bring us around from some steady, perhaps maybe a brief period for heavier rain too, but then on the backside it will be cold enough that we could see some snow showers try to mix in, but that cold air really sinks in here as we get into Friday. We'll have temperatures falling throughout the day, so technically our high temperature of 50 is going to happen overnight. And then the rest of the day on Friday, we're back to the 30s, and it will be windy, so wind chills will be into the 20s and teens. Looking at December temperatures so far for the beginning part of the month, we've had every single day where we've been below average, and I think we'll at least see a little bit of a change this week as those temperatures get a bit above average. So you can see today we're still pretty much stuck in the freezer into the 20s. Tomorrow a little bit better, and then we'll be slightly above average here by Thursday and also at least Friday early morning. Looking at your forecast for today, we'll have a mostly to partly sunny sky, temperatures in the upper 20s, and then for tonight, partly cloudy, seasonably cold with lows falling to near 20. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. So for Wednesday, more clouds and sun with highs near 40. Heading into Thursday, we're expecting still the clouds to win out, but there will be rain developing overnight. And then for Friday itself, there will be some snow showers trying to mix in briefly on the backside, but that high of 50 really only happening in the early morning. And then Gianna, the rest of the day looks like it's going to be windy and cold. We're into the 30s to near 40 heading into this weekend. So it has certainly been an active weather pattern. We've had lots of rounds of snow events here the past few weeks and the Arctic air, but at least we'll see temperatures moderating a little bit here over the next few days, which will be good.
Piled up our snow so far this season,
and it has
Logan.
not melted at all. So
I know,
yes.
right?
Yep.
All right, we're looking forward to that warm change. Now is the time to show that special woman in your life some extra love. Until Friday, you can nominate her for our Remarkable Women 2026 contest at 2822news.com/contest. She can be anyone from a frontline worker to a bedside worker, or however you feel. She is amazing and inspiring. One extraordinary woman will be selected as our grand prize winner. She will travel to Nashville and participate in the National Remarkable Women celebration early next year. She will also receive a donation to her favorite charity. So you still have time. Nominate by Friday. Decreasing the risk faced by women during pregnancy. What new studies say about how vaccinations could safeguard pregnant mothers and their babies, coming up.
22.
In today's Health Beat, pregnant women who got vaccinated for COVID-19 were far less likely to have severe illness or premature babies. A University of British Columbia study looking at more than 20,000 pregnancies found that pregnant women who got the COVID shot were 60% less likely to be hospitalized and 90% less likely to need intensive care than unvaccinated women. COVID vaccination also led to 20 to 30 premature births, adding to the clear evidence vaccination protects pregnant women and their babies. And in our consumer report, iRobot, the maker of robot vacuum Roomba, control of the company is expected to be taken over by its Chinese supplier. The Roomba vacuum was introduced in 2002 and quickly became a household name. Attempts by Amazon to buy the company fell apart. iRobot says it is expecting to continue operating, meet its commitments to its employees, and make payments to vendors and other creditors during the bankruptcy process. The Postal Service is reminding Americans to get their holiday cards and gifts in the mail this week to ensure delivery by Christmas. For the lower 48 states, Ground Advantage mail should go out no later than tomorrow, while Priority and Express shipping can be pushed, and Saturday. Those dates move back a day for mail going to Alaska, Hawaii, or the U.S. territories, which means Ground Advantage mail should go out by today for those places. We are coming right back. One final look at your forecast with Logan today.
On the app.
All right, so final check of the forecast. Still cold today, a little bit better tomorrow. We'll have more clouds and sun, and a little bit warmer Thursday. Dry throughout the day, rain overnight. That high of 50 happens early Friday morning. Will fall throughout the rest of the day, and Gianna back to the 30s to near 40 for the weekend.
A very warm welcoming here.
Yes.
Bring it on. Thanks, Logan. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you back here for First Step 4. Take care.
Very hard to correct those problems.
And polls show that the majority of Americans do not approve of the way the administration economy. Healthcare costs are one affordability issue that's top of mind as lawmakers near the deadline to address rising costs. Millions of Americans will see their health insurance premiums skyrocket January 1st.
Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining and watching The Farmin' Pastor's Wife. This is where I get to share my love of all things food and cooking with you guys. Not to mention that I get to share our sweet little farm where we raise cattle and poultry. And more importantly, I share our deep faith in Jesus Christ and our love for His church. But I also get to share our wild, crazy, yet loving and wonderful family with you guys. Hey everyone, welcome to The Farmin' Pastor's Wife and welcome to my kitchen down on the farm. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here. We are going to have such a good time today. I don't know about you, but how do you feel about leftovers? Let me just ask that. I love leftovers. I think it's the best way to stretch $1 and make your grocery bill go a little bit further. However, I often get bored having the same thing 2 nights in a row. Do you? So today's dish is something that I can make a lot of. I can feed my entire family. My children can come by, bring the grandchildren. Everybody can be here. And I can feed them that way, that many people, twice, and have 2 separate things, but with one main dish. So today we're gonna make that. So I'm gonna ask you guys just to come on into my kitchen, pull up a chair, grab you a drink, and we're gonna make, today is gonna be spaghetti and meatballs. Tomorrow it'll be something else. So just come on in and pull up a chair and I'll meet you back right here. Today is also going to be one of those glorious opportunities I get to share with you what to do when you don't have something you need. And that may happen occasionally. In fact, it usually happens in my kitchen. So I'm going to share with you, don't get upset, don't get worried, don't do anything, because let me tell you, you can usually fix just about anything or substitute. So I'm going to show you that today. So first I have here a couple of pieces of bacon that I'm just going to cut up. You can do 2 or 3 pieces of bacon, maybe more. You could do 4. I've got a couple of pieces. I'm leaving myself 2 slices of bacon in the refrigerator because, you know, it is tomato season and mine are just starting to turn and to get ripe, and it's BLTs. Don't that sound good? Yes. So I did save me out 2 pieces of bacon so I could have BLTs. So I'm just going to get this sauteing or frying down a little bit. You don't have to use bacon. You can use, goodness, you could use some pork belly. You could use a pork chop. Anything you season with is fine, and you don't even have to have bacon. You could just use a little bit of olive oil and it's going to be just as good. I just like to add a little bit of bacon just to give it just a little bit deeper flavor. But listen, if you don't have bacon, it's okay. Just use a little bit of olive oil and saute you up some onions. So I'm going to get this softening up and frying up in here. I'm going to get it on the stove. I'm then going to grab an onion and give it a medium dice on the onion. I won't bore you with my terrible knife skills. In fact, it actually might be quite entertaining, but I don't want to scare you with my knife skills. So I'll see you back once I get the onion all chopped up. So what's even? Worse than you watching my knife skills is watching how I chop an onion. And I'm not doing it today because it's quite funny. But, and I think I can do this quick enough that I don't need it. But a lot of times I have swimming goggles on because I've tried all the wives' tales, all the things that they say to do to keep your eyes from burning, and they don't work. I put the onion in the freezer. I've got the water, the rag out. I've done it all. And so anyway, the only thing that works is if I have on really tight swim goggles. But this one doesn't seem to be too terribly bad. So I'm going to get this on with the bacon and the bacon grease and get it to sauteing. And I'll meet you back as we put the sauce together. So to our bacon, it's not, as you can see, it's not crispy. That's okay. It's just going to cook away in here. It doesn't matter if it's crispy. I mean, it's not like you're going to eat like pieces of bacon. It's just going to kind of dissolve in the sauce. We are making our tomato sauce, tomato gravy, however you refer to it. I know a lot of people call it tomato gravy, and either one is fine with me. I love the word gravy, any which way it comes. I love me some gravy. So if you want to call this tomato gravy, even though it's not like milk gravy or sausage gravy, we'll call it gravy just because I love the word gravy. So I'm going to saute this onion up until it's nice and translucent. And then we're going to add a little bit of garlic. Actually, that's a lot of garlic. That's about 3 tablespoons of garlic we'll add in. I don't want to do it yet because I don't want it to burn. I just want to get these onions nice and softened and translucent. You don't have to get them browned or caramelized or anything. You just want to get them softened. We'll add the garlic in, and then I'll show you our first mistake I've made that I don't have in stock. I forgot to get it, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. All right, so now we're going to add in our garlic. Like I said, that's about 3 tablespoons of garlic. And then we're not done with the garlic because we're going to be adding some garlic powder to this as well. And you might want to cut your burner down just a little bit because you don't want it to burn. And you just want that garlic to get nice and fragrant and so good. Okay, so let's talk about where I made my mistake. I thought I had tomato paste, and this recipe calls for 1/2 of the small can of tomato paste. I thought I had it, but I didn't. But I do have some tomato sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this whole little can. It's a 8-ounce can of tomato sauce right in here to my onions, and I'm just going to let it cook down and thicken and develop and let it cook a little longer than I normally would have. It doesn't create quite exactly the same thing as the tomato paste, but it's pretty close. So we're just going to put it right in here with our onions and our bacon and our garlic, and we're just going to let it cook down quite a bit while I get everything else ready to go in this delicious sauce. So I want you guys to look at how this tomato sauce has thickened up. I mean, it is thickened up, and you basically kind of have your tomato paste that you have just added to the onions, and it is cooked down and thickened up, and you're not ever going to miss the tomato paste. So I have 4 28-ounce cans of crushed, all-purpose crushed tomatoes. And I'm going to add all 4 of those cans, and then I'm going to tell you how I clean out my cans. It's a little unique in the way that I do it, so we're going to just, it's not unique, it's just simple. Not unique, it is simple. Simple. You don't want to add too much water, but I am going to put just a little bit of water in a can, swish it around, pour that same amount of water in all cans, the exact same water in all cans. Hang tight and I'll show you. So I have just a little bit of water in this can, and I'm going to pour that amount of water, kind of cleaning out that can as I go. That can's empty and ready, and we're going to slosh it around in this can. We're then going to pour that water over into here. That can's pretty clean now. And we're going to slosh it around. You don't want to make a mess, so don't do too much sloshing. And we have one more can to clean out. And I kind of turn this can, getting all sides. Look at there. Pretty clean. There's still a little bit. And if you see a little bit, just pour it right back in. Slosh it a little more. There we go. Look at there. And then you just add that water in here. All right. So now we need to season this up. And we may add some more water, so don't think we're done. We may add some more. But we first want to add some seasoning to this. So we're going to wait on the salt and pepper, but we're going to measure with our heart with some garlic powder. And I'm going to think about 3 tablespoons. There we go. Two tablespoons, because we already have, pretty good amount of garlic in there. And we can always add 2, but you can't take out. So always go on the lighter side of your additions and then strengthen as you taste it and need to add more. Our next addition is Italian seasoning. And I'm assuming probably 3 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. I like a lot of Italian seasoning in my tomato sauce. So you just add what you think. Again, if you're not sure, start on the lighter side and add as you see fit. So we're going to move to the meatballs in just a minute. But let me tell you a little something I add in here. I do add about 1/3 cup of sugar, but I'll do that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and add some salt now. Salt and pepper to taste. That again needs to be on your taste preferences. I'm a salty girl. I'm a salty girl. Not in attitude, but in love of salt. So some people don't like as much as I do. So you add to your taste. And we're going to put some black pepper in here. Again, you add to your preference. We're going to give it a stir. And I'm going to kind of taste and see where we're at now, especially on the salt. But we don't want to over salt because I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese right into the sauce. And so the cheese will have a little bit of saltiness. So I don't want to over salt it, but I do want to taste and see where we're at. Needs more. Definitely needs more. Definitely. All right. So let's add just a little bit more water, and let's go ahead and add our sugar in. Let it cook for a little bit. Let all the flavors kind of come out, and then we'll see what we need to add, but we'll go ahead and get our meatballs going. All right, I'm adding about 1/3 cup of sugar. Now, keep in mind, this is a large pot. So I know that looks like a lot of sugar, but in reality, it's really not. It's not gonna make this sweet or heavily sweet. It's just gonna add a little something. So we're gonna let this, before I add the Parmesan, I'm gonna let this cook for a little while. The longer you can let this cook, the better. So I would start this as early as you possibly can, and just let it cook, and let all these flavors come together. So, all right, let's meet over on the island and we'll get started on our meatballs. So one other thing you can add to your sauce to flavor it up is an Italian sausage. That is something I used to add. I would get a link of Italian sausage and cut it into 3 parts and just drop the 3 parts in there. I don't do that much anymore because I have some family members whose palates are very sensitive to fennel. So if there's any fennel in that Italian sausage, they pick up on it. So now I just leave it out. But definitely if that flavor profile does not bother you, you can definitely add Italian sausage in there and it would be delicious. So our meatballs are very much going to be measured and seasoned. The seasoning for our meatballs are going to be measured with our heart. I'm going to try my best to eyeball and give you some amounts, but it's going to be good. So here I have about 2 1/4 pounds of 80/20. I would not go any higher fat content only because the fat's going to release in there and it's going to rise to the top of your sauce. It's going to do that anyway. I'm going to have to skim some fat off, but if I can cut down on that, but I don't want to go any leaner than that as well, just because I want the good flavor. I don't want a dry meatball. You know, I think the 80/20 is the perfect ratio. Okay, so I've broke up my meat just a little bit and then I washed my hands. And so we're gonna start measuring. And I'm guessing it's gonna be about 2 tablespoons each. And I'm gonna start with parsley flakes. Yeah, probably 2 to 3 tablespoons of parsley flakes. And I would say the same to each seasoning. About 2 tablespoons of garlic. Two to three on everything. I'm also going to add in quite a bit of Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan cheese, and we're going to add about 1.5 cups to 2 cups. I'll probably start with 1.5 cups of Italian style breaded breadcrumbs. So I'm going to start with 1.5 cups. There's a cup. There's a half. So we're going to go in and see how well these mix up. And you want to get everything mixed because you don't want to bite into a meatball that's nothing but the garlic powder. Now, a lot of people, and this is totally up to you, cook their meatballs on a cookie sheet and do them in the oven and then add them to the sauce. And that is wonderful. If you want to do that, that is perfection. And I don't blame you a bit. Now, if it gets too dry, which mine is a little bit dry, I may have added too much Parmesan cheese. You can definitely add an egg if you need to loosen it up a little bit, but you still want it to stay together. Add an egg. But I think mine are actually going to be okay. So what you want to do is be able to get out a chunk of meat, roll it into a ball, and let it stay a ball. And as my meat's a little cold, so as it warms up, it'll loosen up a little bit too. So there you go. You're just going to roll them into meatballs, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll them into meatballs, but I'm not going to bake mine in the oven. I'm actually going to drop it right in that sauce and let it cook in that sauce. Let me tell you why. If I was just doing spaghetti and meatballs, I actually do it in there just because it's easier and it saves a step and it's just as good. But another reason is because my second meal of this is going to be meatball subs. And what I don't want to do is have a too hard or too firm of a meatball that as I bite into it, it shoots off the end of the sandwich, or, you know, it just doesn't bite well. So what I'm going to do is I'm making these and I'm going to drop them and let them cook right in that sauce. That makes for a tender, delicious, wonderful meatball. They all get done, so you don't have to worry about doneness because we're going to cook them a good long while in that sauce. It's going to be delicious. So I'm going to stand here, make a few meatballs. I'll meet you back and we'll taste the sauce, see what it needs, and doctor it up if it needs anything. If not, we'll drop the meat right in and let it cook for as long as I possibly can before supper. So, all right, I'll see you back in just a minute. Okay, everyone, I turned the burner down because it was starting to pop and bubble out a little bit. Here are our absolutely beautiful, gorgeous meatballs. If you want to bake them in the oven, you by all means go right ahead and do that. They will be delicious either way. I just like to have a softer, more tender meatball, as well as having it infused with all the flavors that's in this wonderful tomato sauce. But what I want to do before I drop my meatballs in there is I want to give it a taste and check my seasoning again. So, fresh spoon, and we're going to give it a nice taste. Perfection. Perfection. All right, it is starting to bubble a little bit. It's okay once I put the meatballs in because I'm going to put the lid on and it's okay. So what I'm going to do, let me get you guys turned down here, is I am just going to slowly start dropping these right in. And it's okay if you get them on top of each other. We're going to push them down. I don't measure my meatballs. I just do like a golf ball size. And some are bigger, some are smaller. It's okay, because they're going to cook plenty of time. I mean, we don't have to worry about some getting done before the others because they're all going to get done. Look, stop spitting. That tomato sauce was spitting at me. All right, so I'm going to take very gently, I'm just going to push these down in here and kind of make room for some more. I'm just ever so gently. You don't want to break them up because they are still just raw meat and could easily break up. So be very gentle, very, very gentle. And they're going to soften up. They're going to release their juices as we continue cooking. All right, there's it for the meatballs. One more press down. I want to get them down in that sauce. One more press down very gently. And now we can put the lid on and let them cook for at least, you want it to go at least an hour like this, if not 2, 3. An hour the meatballs will be done, but the flavors just keep getting better and better the longer you let it cook. So it is on a low simmer, and we're gonna go, and I'll see you when it's time to taste this and have our supper. Okay, everyone, the meatball and sauce is ready, but I have to add one more thing before it's completely ready. And I'm gonna show you how we eat both meals. We're gonna do both in one night. So let me show you first what we're gonna add. First, let me show you how delicious this looks. Look at there, look at that meatball right there. So delicious, everything is ready. I cannot wait. So good. All right, but we have to add one more thing, and this just gives it a punch up. I like to add a handful of grated Parmesan cheese to my sauce. I just think that does a little something to it. We don't add a whole lot, but enough to mix in and just make you say, there is something rich and good and delicious in that. So I've got some water starting over here. We're gonna do some noodles. I'm also gonna get the second way we're gonna eat this meal going, and I will meet you back when it's time for us to sit down and have dinner. Well, everyone, I have this plated in the 2 ways we would eat this. Night number 1, we would have spaghetti and meatballs, a side salad, and my crusty bread. had I made it. So that's what we would normally have on night 1. Leftover night, totally different meal, but the same entree. We would have meatball subs. So here we are. I'm gonna call Bryant in and we're gonna give it a try. Honey, you ready to come try it?
Sure.
Which one do you want to try first? Let's try night number
Okay.
1 first.
Right. Sounds good.
This is the one we would have on night 1.
That is gorgeous. Ready? Homemade meatballs, right?
Yep. Everything's homemade. The sauce, well, the noodles aren't homemade, but I could have made them homemade, but they're not.
All right, here we go. I know I'm going to like this because that sauce smells delicious.
And you're gonna burn the roof of your mouth off.
Probably so. Here we go. If I can get it plated here.
There you go. Napkin time.
Oh, very rich. The tomato sauce
So
is
good.
right on point. The meatballs are soft and tender, just delicious right there.
Mmm,
So good.
so good. I need your napkin.
There you go. We need more napkins, right? I'm a heavy sauce guy.
So good. Now y'all could have added, if you want to add green peppers to that, definitely could. That would be delicious.
Yep.
I try to keep it as simple as possible.
Anything you do at home to make spaghetti.
Yep. I'm gonna try the sub. This is Caroline's favorite. She likes leftover night, and Isaac likes both nights. And the boys like spaghetti.
Yep. You toasted the sub, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mmm. Mmm. That is good.
Perfect little, that's about a 6-inch sub roll. Plenty of sauce.
I sprinkled it with some Parmesan and mozzarella. Mmm. Show them that meatball. Mmm.
And that cheese right there.
So
Delicious.
good. That is on point.
Yeah.
2 great meals, 1 entree, and they're 2 total. It's not like you're eating leftovers again. It's like a whole new meal.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Hang tight, and I'll come back and tell you goodbye in just a minute. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me make 2 different meals, but only making one thing to go with it, the sauce and the meatballs. This is such a delicious meal, and I know you will enjoy it, as will your family. So we're fixing to call my son and my daughter and see if they want to come grab some before some of us have to go to Bible school, vacation Bible school. It is that time of year. So we are going to enjoy this supper. I hope you guys, in fact, actually, Bryant and I have already enjoyed our supper, our pre-supper supper. This was like a little appetizer to our supper. But guys, thank you so much for joining the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I love it when you come to my kitchen to visit, and I love sitting down with you guys and spending some time with you. It's like having friends with me at all times. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy it. And as I always say, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.
It's weather designed for the future. Accurate and dependable. Sunrise to sunset, you get what you need to plan your day with confidence.
Future Alert Weather, only on 2822 and 2822news.com.
When the sun goes down, you need that home field advantage.
When officials see my name on a caller ID, they answer. Yeah, Chief, can you update the situation?
Watch the team with the home field advantage.
Only on WBRE and WYOU. We start tonight with some breaking news.
Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the Very Vera Show. You know, fall is one of my favorite times of year and we're going to do fall favorites today, making some of my best from our 3 cookbooks. We're going to start with macaroni and cheese. This is from book 1, Recipes from My Table. It's cheesy, creamy, it is so delicious. Then we'll move into 3C calzones. This recipe will be in the 3rd book that's coming out in May. It's a children's cookbook. This is really a great recipe. And then finally, spicy oatmeal raisin bars from book 2, Occasions. So we've got a lot to do. I'm going to get my apron on and get in the kitchen. All right, so macaroni and cheese is probably one of the most popular recipes that's in book 1, Recipes from My Table. And so I really am excited to share it with you. So there's a couple of things that you have to do in advance, and one of them is cooking the elbow macaroni. So whenever you're putting that into a casserole that's going to go in the oven, err on the lower side of that cook time so that it doesn't get overcooked when it goes in the oven. All right, so now we are going to add to this macaroni the sharp cheddar cheese, and I've got my box grater sitting out because I wanted, you know, I say all the time we always hand grate our cheese, and that's what we use to do it. All right, so then I've got my Havarti cheese and then my Monterey Jack. So like I said earlier, this is 4 cheese macaroni and cheese. So you can't have creamy macaroni and cheese without Velveeta. So that's the last of the cheeses that's going in, and we cut it into cubes so it'll melt a little bit faster. All right, now I'm gonna add in my softened butter to this. And our recipes are always on our website at veryvera.com. All right, so let me stir this about for just a second before I add my cream. And this bakes into like a 9 by 13 casserole dish. So for Thanksgiving or anytime you're having the whole family over, maybe you're picking up fried chicken, this is the perfect dish to go with that. All right, so now I'm gonna add in my heavy cream. And this is one of the ones that you can get your young person in the kitchen with you if they're getting excited about learning how to cook. All right, so now I've got an egg in my Pyrex cup and a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm just gonna beat that to go in there. And the macaroni is cooled down enough that this isn't gonna cook the egg. And I've already greased my casserole dish. And you know, think about when you're doing this sort of thing, what you're displaying, and maybe choose a container or a casserole dish that kind of goes with what you're doing, especially if it's on a buffet. And our presentation today at the end of the show is absolutely amazing. So this is just the perfect fit for this. All right, now I'm gonna top it with some more grated cheddar. And then panko breadcrumbs are just perfect because they stay crispy even when they're on top of macaroni. So this is gonna really bake up to a golden brown because we're gonna add a little bit of melted butter to the top. All right, so this is going into a 325-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. And when we come back from the break, we're gonna get started on the 3C calzone that's gonna be in the new cookbook. So come back with me.
See what's possible for your kitchen. With Sub-Zero refrigeration, Wolf Cooking, and Cove Dishwashing.
Every spring, thousands of patrons gather in Augusta for the golf event of the year. If you're making the trip, let Vera manage all aspects of your tournament week experience. From finding the perfect home to providing exquisite meals for you and your guests, to transportation to and from the course. With over 35 years experience, Vera has you covered. Plan your trip at VeraAugusta.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and oh my goodness, that macaroni and cheese smells so good, just bubbling in the oven. I just cannot wait for you all to try that recipe. All right, so this is a recipe that will be in the next book that comes out. This is the trilogy. I'm so excited about it. The first book that macaroni and cheese was in was everything that we did in mail order in our company. And then the second book, which the next recipe will be, was everything we've done in catering. This book is what we've been doing for over 22 years with our children during camp, but we've added some additional recipes that we feel like some of the older children will enjoy, like making for their family and that sort of thing. All right, so this is the 3C calzone that's going to be in the book. So what is the 3 C's? What does that stand for? It stands for cheesy, chipotle, and chicken. So this is just a really fun recipe for the children to make, and it's a really good snack for after school, or even if you're just having supper and watching football. All right, so what we've done is I go to the refrigerated section of the grocery store and get the Pillsbury pizza crust dough. So that's what I've done. I've opened up that. Now I'm going to put some flour on my board because we're going to get 8 rectangles out of this. And keep it cold until you're ready to use it. It just makes it work a little bit better. So now I'm going to add a little bit more on the top here. And what we're going to do is make this just a little bit thinner with the rolling pin. And even getting the children involved in using a rolling pin and taking their time and paying attention to what they're doing is also important. So some of the steps in this book, the recipes all of you will enjoy making. But what we've done is take a little bit of extra time in discussing the steps on recipes so they understand it. All right, so now I'm going to take and go straight down the middle. In the middle there. Same thing here. So you're getting 8 rectangles. All right, so now the filling, which is so good. All right, so this is when rotisserie chicken really comes in handy because I'm using the white meat of the chicken and we just, pulled it apart with a fork. But I love the dark meat, so if I did that, then I'm gonna eat the thigh and the leg for dinner. So that's just, finely shredded in the bowl. So this is the Chipotle ranch dressing that's going to go inside. So let me tell you what we did to make this. It was made in the blender. All right, so you start with ranch dressing, Duke's mayonnaise, a pepper from a 7-ounce can of Chipotle peppers and adobo sauce, then white vinegar, granulated sugar, onion powder, and garlic powder. So it's got a little bit of a kick to it, but honestly, the children love it. All right, so I'm gonna add that to the chicken. Then crispy bacon. Can't help but love that too. And then we've got mozzarella cheese, and we're just gonna stir this together. So here again, this is so full of meat. You could actually make these bigger and make a whole meal out of it. All right, so let's get started with the first one. So we're gonna do about a tablespoon of this mixture. And we go to one end of it. Heaping. All right, so now I'm gonna pull this over to cover all of that up and just smush it in. And now this is the fun part. We get to crimp the edges to hold it in with a fork. And these are the little steps that we are really excited about sharing with the children is, why it's important, to press this down really well and how this, you can do this with a pie crust too. So we'll put this over on the pan. Let's do another one. Oh, that was so good. These are really fun to make and delicious to eat. All right, and then the last step is I've got a egg that we're gonna brush the top and then put some more cheese on top. And then these will go into the oven and bake. So let's brush this real quick with the egg and put some cheese. Pastry brush. All these little steps. I mean, you could have, I've got 5 grandchildren under the age of 12, so I could probably give each one of them a job when we get ready to do this recipe. All right, so a little cheese on top, and when we come back from the break, how about a spicy oatmeal raisin bar? Does that sound good? Great for fall. Come back with me in just a few minutes.
If you've never been or even visited lately, it's time to see Augusta. Georgia's Soul City is experiencing a renaissance with new restaurants, shops, and attractions popping up almost daily. Whether you're a foodie, a history buff, with family or friends, or just looking for an adventurous weekend getaway, come see us. Our gracious, friendly people and laid-back, eclectic style make a trip to Augusta an easy, unforgettable experience. Plan your trip today at visitaugusta.com.
When I was a girl, I didn't understand my mother's traditions. That is, until I had a family of my own. Because as your family grows, so too does your heart. All the love, all the memories, it all comes rushing back. Our granddaughter asked why we use china every time she's over, and I told her what my mother told me. Traditions get better with time. Replacements.com.
All right, so the weather is perfect. We're right in the middle of fall. The kitchen won't get too hot when you make all these recipes, so I really hope that you will try some of these. This time of year, the aromas, the taste, the crunchiness, all of the things that make fall just so much fun for food. And for our family, you know, we're all enjoying football. There's just a lot of easy suppers that we're doing because we might be watching football Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So this is one of those recipes that will be really handy to make. It freezes really well, and so if you're getting ready to go somewhere to watch the game, you'll have something great to take. All right, so these are the spicy oatmeal raisin bars. I've got my light brown sugar in the mixer. I'm going to add my granulated sugar, and I've got 2 sticks of butter, and it's at room temperature. Just look at that. You know, and this is where the chemistry at baking comes in, because it's going to blend much better if you have let your ingredients come to room temperature. All right, so we'll put this on like a medium speed. And that's gonna go around for about 2 to 3 minutes. All right, that looks just about right. So I'm gonna scrape the sides of the bowl. It's just a really pretty creamy color. All right, so now let's add in 2 eggs, and we'll do that one at a time. And this is my little trick, my Pyrex measuring cup. You know, when I decided to major in home economics at the University of Georgia, I thought I was choosing the easy way out and I'd get to eat food the whole time I was there. I had no idea I had to take chemistry. And now, because I love baking so much, now I know why I had to take chemistry. All right, so I've got vanilla extract. I'm gonna add that in. And these are just the old-fashioned oats. So I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. Add those in. And then my flour. You know, and we love to suggest, and even in this children's cookbook that we're doing, we suggest that you get all of your ingredients measured before you get started. So you're not stopping and, you know, doing the next thing. Okay, so now we've got baking soda. And this is why it's called spicy. We have cinnamon, salt, ginger. You know, honestly, I beat Bobby Flay on Throwdown with Bobby Flay with my carrot cake, and he put ginger in his cake, and I beat him. That's one of my favorite stories. Okay, so now coconut. And you know, if some of these ingredients do not suit your family, you could certainly leave the coconut out if you wanted to. It wouldn't affect anything. I really love it in this recipe. So let me scrape the sides one more time. All right, so now I'm gonna add in my craisins. Whoop. I'm gonna add them in and throw them all over the counter. So now I'm gonna fold the rest of these ingredients in just so they stay together. So let me get this off. And I've got my Pearson Farm Elliott pecans that we've chopped. And you know, there's something about using ingredients from folks that you know, the farmers that you know that grow these things, and that's the way we feel about the Pearson family, and we love to use their products. We use their peaches too. So there's the pecans, and now I've got chocolate chips. So this is like the more sophisticated older sister of an oatmeal cookie. So it's, you know, if you love those flavors of the cookie, I think you're really gonna love this recipe. And this is the pan that I recommend in all of my cookbooks that has just the right edge, and all of our bars, whether it's in the first book, the second book, or the third book, will tell you to use this size pan, and that this amount of batter fits in it perfectly. All right, so I'm gonna get this spread in the pan It's going to go in the oven. And then I'm going to get this apron off and get in the backyard because I'm going to set the most amazing fall event landscape in my backyard to show you with all of my goodies from Replacements Limited. So come back with us in just a few minutes.
See what's possible for your kitchen. With Sub-Zero refrigeration, Wolf Cooking, and Cove Dishwashing.
Hey, I'm Vera Stewart, and I'm excited to introduce my new cookbook, Occasions. Full of tried and true dishes from my years of catering, Occasions has the right recipe to wow your guests. And don't forget to pick up my first book, which showcases dishes sold online and in our restaurant for years. Learn more about these classic Southern cookbooks by visiting our website and follow us on social media. Order your copies of the Very Vera cookbooks today. Welcome back, everybody. And did I promise you a beautiful setting in my backyard? And the weather is cooperating. It's just a beautiful fall day here in Augusta, Georgia. All right, so we're going to walk back through what we did today, and we're going to do it by course. So this is the 3C calzone. Look how beautiful it plated. The sauce, we put some more on the side. It looks really great. You can see from when I put the butter on top and the cheese, it got really nice and golden brown. So I just love the way that looks. So it looks as good as it looks, but it looks even better because Replacements Limited has worked with me on every one of these courses today to provide the perfect place setting for these meals. The tablecloth came from I Do Linens in Atlanta. They have every imaginable color, fabric, design. It's just incredible. So this bright green worked really well with the charger plate or service plate that I got from Replacements Limited, and I actually love the center of it as well. But this leaf plate that comes, as you can see, in 4 different colors really makes it beautiful. If you want to do an assortment of plate colors, don't give everybody the exact same one. The flatware is incredible, looks really good, and I love the glassware as well with the little bees on it. It's perfect. Flowers on Broad did the flowers, and so everything just came together perfectly. All right, now we're on the main course, and the star of the show on this dinner plate is our macaroni and cheese. And what pairs better with that than a big old pork chop with a bone in and green beans, Southern style. The macaroni and cheese is so creamy, and if you do happen to have any left over, if you'll heat it up with a little bit of chicken broth, and just stir it together just to keep that moisture going. But the crispiness stays there and the panko breadcrumbs. So I love the way that this turned out. So now here we go again with Replacements Limited. I just can't do it without them. I mean, I'm almost to the point where I've said before that I'm going to choose my vessel for a buffet and then determine what food I need to put in the vessel. And I'm getting to the point where I'm doing that with Replacements Limited. Does this look like this plate was made for these 3 dishes? Absolutely. I just love it. So the feathers, the fall looks, the vine, everything about it. And this charger, just look at that. And you could use this with a variety of pieces that are already in your cabinet. So one of the things that I love to suggest with Replacements Limited, you could dress up your Thanksgiving or Christmas table by just adding a charger plate. It just pops the table. You're going to get that dinner plate and come, but you've already been able to set the table, and it looks beautiful before the dinner plate ever gets there. This silverware with the braided pattern is so good looking, as is the amber glass. And again, Flowers on Broad, I don't know where they get all their plant material from, but it is amazing, and the container. All right, so if you've got a sweet tooth, you're in the right place. And the last course is the wow factor with dessert. So the spicy oatmeal raisin bars, it just turned out so lovely. And the raspberry could be caramel, it could be anything, but just do the wow factor with dessert. People love it. I've got the Pearson Farm pecans sprinkled on the top, so it really does make a beautiful presentation. And I love the table setting on this one. As I said earlier, I Do Linens in Atlanta did all of our linens today. This gingham buffalo check is so good looking with the bamboo flatware, the charger plate here, the woodland look of the little deer in the plate that I've got the bar on is so attractive. And you know, from time to time I'll go into places like, you know, maybe a florist in a resort town that has some little things that you can pick up that are fake that you can use. And so these are Galax leaves, but they're metal. And so I just wrapped them around the top of the plate. I only had enough to do 3 place settings, but what does it matter? Because I had some beautiful Spanish moss, so I could have done that as well. The flowers, again, just worked so well with a completely different look here. So what I would love for you to do is go to Replacements Limited. and look at all the different settings, all the different patterns and the manufacturers of each of these things, and place an order for the holidays. Just make yourself something special to look forward to. And as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do it in good taste. Come back and join me again next week.
It's weather designed for the future. Accurate and dependable. Sunrise to sun.
Welcome back to On the Red Carpet with Allison. Guys, I have a really fun one today. And I'm not just saying that because we talked this whole time before I started rolling. I am here with Amy. Say it. Wait, Amy, you just got to do it because it just left my mind.
Amy Bezic.
Amy Bezic. I've been saying it Amy Bezak this whole time, so I do apologize.
Oh, that's okay. I said it that way my entire life.
We have so much to talk about. I was going to start this with every episode holds such a special place in my heart, and the ones that I really love the most are the ones where I highlight local artists. But joining me today, she's a photographer, she's an artist, she does so much community work, which is great because I have to fill a 30-minute show. So I'm gonna have no problem. Amy, thanks for joining me on the Red Carpet with Allison.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You do a lot for the community, and we're gonna talk about that. But first, what made you tap into your creative talents and to give back to your community?
Kindergarten, I think. I remember art class in school, just growing up in the arts and photography. Valley West had a class where you developed. And that was the first time I witnessed a blank piece of paper in a chemical bath, and all of a sudden an image appeared and it was like magic and I was hooked.
You were doing that in kindergarten?
No, developing was in high school.
Okay.
I started drawing and sketching and, just being creative ever since I was a child.
I was going to say, I want to go to that kindergarten.
Yeah, I don't think it's too safe for a 5-year-old to, develop film in a chemical bath. So, but yeah, no, I've always been into something creative. I was in every class through middle school. I mean, I was in wood shop, metal shop, anything that I could create with. Like I was that girl in all the classes that only guys were in. And then through high school, the same thing. In college, I attended it for pretty much everything artistic, broadcasting, communications, architectural engineering, interior design, recording engineering, and photography.
So when did murals and photography really stick out to you? And when did you think, wow, like I could be doing this and make it a career?
Photography was when I was working for corporate studios throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and then I've traveled to Texas and California. So I had training and extensive training in business and P&L statements and how to run one. And then eventually I just went on my own because the rules were too, how do I say? There were too many rules. You were only allowed to set your lighting at an F11 for your main light. Your key light had one, your hair light had another, and you weren't allowed to play because it was corporate photography. So being on my own, I can really get more creative when it comes to everything. Murals came in when I moved back from Jersey City in 2008. Hometown is Edwardsville. And I moved back next to my parents.
Here.
Yes. Woo! And growing up in Edwardsville, it was so much fun. The main street was filled with businesses and candy shops and restaurants. I really miss Vic Mars. Worked there back in the day.
Okay.
But I moved back and I went to see Aaron Coffer. That's when he was state rep. I said, listen, what do we do? I want murals here. In Jersey, there's murals. In Philly, there's murals. When I lived in Cali, there's art everywhere. There's public art everywhere. And we don't have that here. Pittston was the only town with public art. So I said, what do I need to do to make Main Street look more like Pittston and city streets, in Philly and New York? He connected me with several other individuals, and that's how Street Art Society was born. Jenna.
Okay, I was going to ask really quick. So you approached him. They didn't approach you.
Correct.
Okay. Because I always wondered, when people want to put a mural somewhere, how does that work? So I'm so happy you're elaborating on that. I learned something new today. Continue.
Awesome. That's a good day then. I went into Aaron's office. I said, this is the vision. Everyone in Edwardsville knew me. I attended board meetings. I do that all the time, but council meetings. Because it's really important to get involved in your town, and that's how you do, by attending a council meeting. You find out everything that's going on in the town. And I asked Edwardsville to sponsor our first phase. As Kathy Soprano would say, I was relentless. So they did, and our first murals went up in Edwardsville, Kingston, and Luzerne. We wanted to spread them out. That way other towns would see, this is what happens when a mural goes up. And then since then, other towns have sponsored us. There is so much back-end work when it comes to murals. We work with the LSA grant, which is through the casino, local share account.
Okay.
That is only given to municipalities. When they built the casino, that was one of the rules. You have to give back to community. And that's where the LSA came in. So I go to every council meeting, every council meeting, Edwardsville, Kingston, Luzerne, 44, Wyoming, West
Put her
Pittston,
on the ballot.
Wilkes-Barre, Hanover. So this year I'll be going to Plymouth, trying to get one for Plymouth and then another for Wyoming next year. Those are the two goals. But we're finishing up phase 4 right now. We have over 40 murals. It's amazing.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm happy you brought that up. I was doing my homework on Facebook, Instagram to kind of get my questions. And I saw that you're in the works for a new mural. And the one over here that used to be by the old Sterling.
Oh, Lady of the Valley by Evan Lovett.
Yes, that is part of your society, correct?
Yes and no. So
Okay.
that is yes. Clement Muka, if I'm pronouncing his name properly. I am horrible with names, so I'll put that
Me
out
too.
there. And that's my weakest link, is remembering names as well. However, Clement purchased that property, restored it, reached out to us saying, I'm looking for an artist. He privately funded that mural.
Okay.
So that had nothing to do with grant funding, LSA, sponsorships from a borough. That was privately funded. And he wanted to represent the history of Wilkes-Barre in a different light. Still sort of having coal mining in the background, but not really facing forward, the Diamond City. He started that with a scribble grid. Everyone was really confused because they thought somebody came in and did graffiti all over the wall. And we're like, no, this is how it works. Because most murals, if you have 1 or 2 stories, the artist goes at night, they project the outlines on the building, and then they'll spray paint or either hand paint the outlines on the building at night, and then they'll start painting in. When it comes to structures that are 3 or more stories, you cannot project on because it'll keystone. And that's where scribble grids come in, or just a traditional grid. So when Evan did that, he wrote our names in it. He had all these symbols. And that's how he knew, okay, here's where the shoulder of the lady is. Here's where her eyes will be.
Okay.
So that was...
Sounds so tedious.
It is. It's sort of like an architectural drafting, but for a mural.
But the work you guys do is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. I've seen several. Can you tell me, and our viewers, where they all are if they wanted to go check them out, scavenger hunt to see them?
Yes, I can. So we have a website, Street Art Society, NEPA.org, but we also have an app, which is Street Art Society NEPA.
Okay.
On that app, it's super cool. Megan did so much work. She's one of our board members, and VizVibe designed and created the app. So thank you to VizVibe. It's augmented reality. So there is a map that will have little dots in the town and take you to several murals. And for example, my building in 44th, the studio, when you go with the app and you hold your camera up to the wall, the butterflies will fly out towards you. It is so magical, wicked cool. And other walls will do the same thing. So that's a way that you could find a lot of the murals. I know not everyone is on there. Facebook, we do a lot when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, like, hey, here's the new mural being painted. This is where it's located. I'm trying to think what else could like show you a little tour. I would use the app for now, but not every mural's on there. So tie that into Facebook and Instagram as well.
Besides phase 4, is there anything else you can tease, like any new works?
Oh,
Like
yes. Right
phase
now,
5?
there's a mural being painted right now.
Like this hour?
Right now, there's 2 artists in 44 at Pizza Bella on
Ooh.
Route 11. And this is the ending of phase 4. Our theme was Life on the Susquehanna. Frank Chappelle is there painting. He's the artist who painted the bears in Wyoming. So if anybody is,
Yes,
you know,
I pass that regularly.
Yes.
And the turtles in Edwardsville.
Yes, that was our first mural.
Oh, nice.
Evan, the same artist who did Lady of the Valley, painted the turtles. He was wonderful. He's just an amazing soul. He's a great artist.
Those turtles are so lifelike. It looks like they're just popping off of the wall. So you really do. Like, your artists have such talent. How long does a mural take, or does it really depend?
It depends. Evan finished the turtle mural in 18 hours.
Wow.
Let's think. Let me think of some larger ones. Some artists, I remember like when Eric Bassart started with the Blue Jay in phase 1, he was just starting with spray paint, so he did a lot of hand paint. That mural took a couple weeks. So it depends on the mediums, like spray paint's quicker, hand painting, of course, will be longer, and the style, the dimensions, so it all goes into the time frame.
No, but what about weather? Like, obviously, how does weather play a role? Like, when it rains, you like get worried and it's like, oh, everything's going to wash away.
No, every artist plans accordingly. So I stopped in yesterday to see Frank at Pizza Bella, and he was working until about 6. He said, until the sun came down because the storm would come in. They pay attention. And he said to me, we'll be back tomorrow after 11 because it looks like the showers will, be passing by. And they were right on point. I was on my way here, traveling from the studio, and did a beep, 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 and a nice little wave. Keep on painting, keep on painting. Yeah, so it's cool. So this will be finishing phase 4. We have 3 other murals. The Market Street Bridge. Mary Lou painted the kayakers, and Jeff George painted the storage station behind that wall. Really stunning. He's an amazing artist too. They're all amazing. Ursula painted the sub pump station on the 44th levee behind the soccer fields, and that has like a Pennsylvania Dutch kind of theme. It is beautiful. So
I'm going to have to check these out. I go on a walk every day. It's nice. I'm going to have to check some of these out. I want to get away from, arts for a minute because you are a very, very busy woman. So you were just at a women's network luncheon. You work very closely with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Talk to me about those things.
So the network luncheon is the Empower, and that's through the Scranton Chamber. They wanted me to discuss headshots, and it was really fun because so many people think a cell phone is a good application to take portraits, and it's like the worst application on the planet. I taught them something no one knew. I was like, okay, everybody, grab your cell phone, do your thing for your selfie. And what I want you to do is swipe up on your photo and tell me what the millimeter lens it was, and everybody's like, what? What are you talking about, millimeter lens?
I just take a selfie.
Yeah. And I was just like, so I showed them perspective and focal point with millimeters. Like if you have a wide angle lens and you're taking a self-portrait at a 24 millimeter, your face is distorted, your nose is bigger than it is. So they were educated on such a level. I was just like, if you cannot afford someone like me for professional photos, put your cell phone on a table, on a tripod somewhere way far away from you, zoom into 2 because you might be lucky if you're a 50 millimeter lens. I'm like, which can still cause distortion. But yeah, it was great. So like I got to empower all of these women to feel good about themselves because we're all so insecure. And the cell phone does not do justice. Like it makes you more insecure because it doesn't look like you.
Listen, working here and being on TV and now on podcast on the 2822 Now app, I look at myself sometimes and I'm like, wait, what? Like, I just don't like what I see, but I'm getting over that. And
sometimes it could be the focal length.
Yeah.
Like if the camera person or the photographer doesn't understand focal length and they're using a zoom lens and they're walking in before they're zooming, you're distorted.
What about Big Brothers Big Sisters? Like you still, I see the smile. Talk to me about it. Talk to me.
Oh gosh, Abby. So I wanted, well, not just now, but like all the time, I want to inspire people, be more of a positive influence, just spread positivity and love.
Amy, we've been talking for 15 minutes and I am so energized. I'm having so much fun. We're both matching today, by the way.
How about that?
Like the blues, like we literally, this whole, like it's a calm vibe.
It is.
And you look like Van Gogh's Starry Night.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to listen to some Belle and Sebastian later about the blues. Great song.
Okay.
But yeah, so go back to where we were.
You were talking about
energy,
Abby.
Big Brother. Yeah, so Abby. I met Abby. We were connected, or paired, I should say. We were matched right before her 8th birthday. It's crazy now because she's like 14.
Wow.
And she was so little. Like, just this little kid.
Oh.
And it's just been such a pleasure being her big sister. She teaches me more than I think I teach her.
That's how it goes oftentimes.
Well, what children go through today in school, bullying, social media, not fitting in, not having the right clothes, not having whatever it is. Like, kids can be brutal.
My sister is 9. I am 15 years different because I'm 23. And sometimes she'll just come home and like be not eating. And I'll be like, well, Piper, what's going on? And she's like, well, I don't want to get fatter than I already am. And it's like, how do you know what that word is at 9 years old? And then it's like stealing all my skincare, stealing all my makeup. You don't need all that. Listen, all my wrinkles, like I need that. But you don't need that. So it's just like a crazy, crazy world we live in.
Yeah. But Abby's wonderful. She's so accepting and open and loving. And she loves to cook. Like her favorite place is the kitchen.
Okay. What's her meal? What's she whipping up for us?
I don't know. I'll have to reach out to her because
tell her I'm coming over.
It's been a hot minute because I take care of my mother, like with everything else that she's been going through.
Yeah.
But yeah, Abby is just a phenomenal human being. She is so mature for her age and just, I don't know, her energy is just phenomenal. Like we went to Knoebels for the Big Brothers Big Sisters event.
Yes.
Okay. And it was cute because like I have 8 herniated discs in my spine and I used to be able to ride roller coasters, but I was in a hit and run earlier this year.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's okay. I love roller coasters, but it wouldn't be fun if you weren't on it. And it's important that you're healthy. And
what an angel.
Right? I'm just like, what an awesome kid. I'm like,
because other kids would be like, I don't care, get on the ride.
Right. Or just give attitude about it or go into a different mindset where it's not positive, it turns negative. But she's just like so positive. I love her.
We need more of that in the world. We really do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.